Hi there, I'm Dr. Evan Erickson, CEO of Liberty Ion, your friendly neighborhood grant writer. So reach out, evan at libertyion.com if you have any questions and need any help. I have to say that I apologize. This is a late entry. Last Wednesday was the Domestic Critical Minerals and Material Supply Chains workshop, and that was Wednesday. I had intended to give you a summary of what this was about. I hadn't updated. Actually, somebody reached out and emailed me, and so shame on myself. I sincerely apologize if you find this useful. I really appreciate it that someone reached out and actually somebody is watching these. So okay, that's good news. I hope it's useful. If it is useful for you, please subscribe. That'll help me, and little tiny feedback it makes me quite happy. So it's quite nice to hear from someone that I could give the notes from this workshop to. Just a quick background on the Department of Energy. There hasn't been any NOFOs or notice of funding opportunities since this spring. They did allow some submission of grants, but we have not heard back from them. That's like the Vehicle Technologies Office grant. I have a few of those out that have not been reviewed, or at least they have not been responded to. I have been told that they will get to these, just that they, you know, Doge cut about 50% of their workforce, and then they rehired it. So it's been a chaos, and so it's not the Department of Energy average employee there's fault. So it's just the administration went about this in a chaotic way without a serious plan. So they're sort of assembling it back together. It seems like Elon went back to his day job, so that's good. And the government can focus on its governmental stuff. So that background. Having said, they just recently released the notice of an intent. So it's not the NOFO, but it is the notice of an intent to make a NOFO. So we're not quite there yet where they're actually releasing the NOFO will be the whole framework of how to apply for the grant, how much it is, what the cost share, all this stuff. But they have released what their goals are, which is a good first start. And it essentially comes down to rare earth elements, which I'm sure that you've heard about if you follow any news about China. So that it's a big priority for it was the Biden administration as well as the Trump administration to wean ourselves off of Chinese supply of rare earth elements, and so that's a part of the focus. And then there's critical minerals and materials. That's another one where there's a list of minerals that are uh, critical for the U.S. and that includes lithium if you're in the lithium-ion battery space, as I was, but also others, and then also graphite is one of these materials as well that's critical. So there's some direct lithium extraction uh, grant that's listed there. Then the final one is a reissue of what they called the bipartisan infrastructure law. And now they refer to it as a different nomenclature. Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act grants are the previous ones, which we'll know if it continues the same. But the previous NOFO that these are based on the same law were a minimum of $100 million project size. Half of that would be from the government. That's for a demonstration facility. For the full scale plant, that is actually 200 million. So 100 million government side. So it's a 50% cost share. There's very very full scale large manufacturing plants that are being put in place, and many companies got this: Dow, Service Solutions, 6K, Ascend Elements. You can look these up in the news. The key is if you want to apply for these, that you have to have very strong funding commitments as well as a bunch of other issues. So if you're interested in those types of grants, I'll make a separate video for them because they're a very large scale. I can go through the previous application process and just outline what you should be working on right now if you are thinking about building a $200 million facility and you want to get this funding. I've applied to several of these and I will help you walk you through the process. And then also reach out. You're going to need help to write the grant, and I can only do a few of them. I don't want to go too crazy. I tore out my back when I wrote the first one, but that was before ChatGPT, so now it's easier. There. Another thing that they announced is about ARPA-E. They also have their own pushes, and this is for actually detection of rare earths and things like that. So that'll be some further funding in this. So mining is very heavy on this. For a good reason. We need to try and wean ourselves off of Chinese rare earths. And to be frank, how they mine the rare earths in China is basically you take an acid and you find a hill where you think there's rare earths, and you dump a big bucket of acid into it and let it drip down into a pit that you buried, and then that's the dissolved rare earths are there, and they further purified. So other than discussing these NOFOs, they started it off with, of course, with a lot of praise for a certain politician. Then they also describe some working groups. Try to find those links here. Some other matchmaking tools that we can use, a surgeon survey, an interactive map. And then they went into a few success stories that they have to point to. So there's a rare earth demonstration plant that they're building in Wyoming, and then also a rare earth free magnets that they're working on. So we could avoid rare earths. If we can avoid them, then we don't need them anymore. And in our powerful magnets, so that's one of these options. So and we hope that you can get some funding as well. And Liberty Ion would like to help you do that. So just reach out, Evan at libertyion.com, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you watching.
Liberty Ion.